Where do Africa's treasures belong?
An artifact found in Africa can never belong to Britain in any way.
These artifacts, who do they belong to?
They belong to the museums where they are now.
Centuries, Africa has endured the heartbreaking loss of its invaluable artifacts, stripped away by colonial powers and collectors driven by greed. These stolen treasures, imbued with immense cultural and spiritual significance, represent the very essence of African heritage. Their removal from their rightful homes stands as a haunting testament to the deep injustice inflicted upon African communities.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome to my channel. I do hope you decide to subscribe and join the happy family. And if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back once again. So I kind of forgot to wish all the women here happy International Women's Day. So I'm just doing that. Happy International Women's Day. Being women is our superpower. And I wouldn't change it for anything. So over to the video that we have today. As you guys already saw in the title, you guys, when I came across this topic being discussed on TikTok, I went through several emotions. I went through anger, I went through disbelief, and at some point it became comical because I even laughed. These palm color people are at it again. Let me just go right ahead and play this video.
Now, it's been more than a century since treasures were looted by British soldiers from Ghana. Many of them hold huge cultural and spiritual significance. Now, in a landmark agreement, the Victoria and Albert and British museums in London are returning them on loan to the Ashanti King. Our culture editor Katie Razzle has this exclusive report.
There is anger. People look at it in colonial terms. Looting of items, precious items belonging to people, items that they don't easily forget.
Gold from the royal court of the Ashanti Kingdom, which was once one of Africa's most powerful states. These objects and many more were looted by British troops in the Ashanti capital Kumasi in 1874 during the Third Anglo-Ashanti War. Sold at auction then, now they're going back to Ghana for the first time in 150 years.
Loaning back stolen artifacts instead of just giving them back? That's what the UK is doing with these cultural artifacts. They were taken by British troops during colonial times from Ghana's Asante Royal Court. 32 items will be returned under a 3-year loan agreement, with the option to extend for a further 3 years. The Victoria and Albert Museum is lending 17 objects, and the British Museum 15. Both are in London. Some of the pieces are part of the Asante Royal Regalia and are of great historical and spiritual importance to Ghana. The loan agreements were not made with Ghana's government, however, but with the current Asante King, known as Asante Hene. For the first time after 150 years, many of the gold artifacts will be shown in Ghana. The objects will be displayed in the Manshia Palace Museum in Kumasi, the capital of the former Asante Kingdom. But why just lend them back? Some national museums in the UK are banned by law from permanently returning contested items. The British government has released guidance advising cultural institutions that are holding contested assets to keep them and explain the historical background. But in recent years, calls for stolen items to be returned are growing. What do you think? Should the UK change the law and give away ownership instead of loaning?
So yeah, British museums have kind of struck a deal with the king of the Asante Kingdom of present-day Ghana to return stolen artifacts. Yes, they were looted in the 19th century by British soldiers. So they took some artifacts from the Asante Kingdom of Ghana, took them back to UK, and then they put them in the museum along with many other stolen things. Because walking through the museum, a lot of people talk about how they walk through the British Museum and they don't see anything of British origin. It is stolen things from Africa, from Asia, and some other countries. So they put these Ghanaian artifacts there and held on to them for over 150 years. So now the present king of the Asante Kingdom was able to strike a deal with them, and they agreed to send these artifacts back to Ghana on loan. You guys, loan for 3 years. And there's a possibility that it could be renewed. Depending on how the 3 years go, they could renew for another 3 years. And this just blew my mind. Can you guys hear the amusement in my voice? I cannot believe who steals something from another person and loans it back to the person they stole it from. So this news was circulating right around the end of January, so it is still very fresh and it got everybody talking. So let me just play the stitches and commentary to this video.
Someone who is both Nigerian and Ghanaian, something this just like, and I think anybody who is from an African country that has faced colonization from any of these fucking European fucking dirtbags knows that this shit is just disgusting. What do you mean loan back Ghana's gold? Like, y'all fucking went there, looted the fucking place, massacred the people, colonized the people, are still actively participating in the destabilization of multiple Western African countries, and you think loaning something back is enough? The fact that they even are loaning it back is just insane to me. And it's funny because according to this BBC article, it says that they are banned from permanently giving, there are laws that are in place that bans them from permanently giving things back. Who made those laws? You guys did, so you can change them. What the fuck? This nonsense like, oh, well, our hands are tied. No, you literally made these fucking laws. You literally looted this shit. You literally did this. It is within your full capabilities to do otherwise, but you choose not to. This isn't, I'm not gonna fucking applaud a fish for fucking swimming. Like, this isn't even applauding a fish for swimming. It's worse than that. These motherfuckers stole this shit because they wanted to show how big and bad they were. They wanted to show that they could destabilize multiple countries, steal from people, grape and pillage, and do all of the heinous shit that they did, and then decades later half-ass this shit. Say, oh well, we'll loan it back. Fuck y'all. Fuck the UK.
The UK agrees to loan back stolen Ashanti golden crowns under the long-term leasing agreement. They loaning back some shit they acknowledging they stole. I read this at first and thought it was fake, so I looked it up. Sure enough, I seen the articles, man. UK to loan back Ghana's looted crown jewels. The next time you hear about people talking African countries and about how their infrastructure messed up or about how they in poverty, remember this story right here. Countries that colonize those countries have interest in making sure they stay destabilized, because how in the hell else you gonna let me loan you back some shit that I stole from you? The items to be loaned, most of which were taken during the 19th century wars between the British and the Ashanti, include a sword of the state, gold badges worn by the officials charged with cleansing the soul of the king. And just to sprinkle a little context in it for the people in the back, historically speaking, Ghana and that area of Africa was known as the Gold Coast. I read that they had so much gold on the king, they would have a servant that walked around just to make sure he can help hold his hand up during handshakes because he was bust down. This is the part that make your butt itch right here, because it's like what the coloniality is going on. However, Mr. Hunt insisted the new cultural partnership is not restitution by the back door, meaning it's not a way to return permanent ownership back to Ghana. The 3-year loan agreements with an option to extend for a further 3 years are not with the not the Ghanaian government, but with an individual that is the current king, known as the Ashantian, who attended the coronation of King Charles last year. See, what happened was the Ashanti people built one of the most powerful and formidable states in West Africa, trading among others gold, textiles, and enslaved peoples. In fact, did y'all know that the Ghanaian government recently apologized to the descendants of enslaved Africans for their contribution to the old Atlantic slave trade? Back to the point though. My question to y'all, can you loan objects back to a country they say you stole from them? Sadly, it's a solution to UK legal restrictions that may not be acceptable to countries which say they want their shit back in historical wrongs. Education is elevation. Tell me what y'all think.
Ashanti Gold, UK to loan back Ghana's looted crown jewels. For them to write an article featured on their platform and use the word loot. Do you know that, no meaning of loot? Maybe you people don't understand. Steal goods from a place, typically during a war or riot,
So they stole it.
How do you, like, I come steal your TV, then I come tell you, say, okay, your TV, I come steal them, but I go loan them
to you.
What the hell are we doing?
And then you also agree.
What? Yes, and you see, that is why I don't blame them. I blame ourselves. It is sad. I'm not saying that we should go to war because of artifacts and relics, but it is either you are bringing it to us and adding apology to it,
exactly,
or you don't do it at all. Yes, fire the brain. Oh yeah, why should we come and engage you in a loan agreement?
And loans ever shows we go pay. Loans ever shows we go pay.
I don't know how this thing they work.
Loan the area they will be chianka.
UK has agreed to return the 32 stolen artifacts that they stole from Ghana, and which includes gold artifacts. But there's a big but in the situation. It's not even being hidden. These people are acknowledging that yes, we stole these artifacts. And yes, we passed a law that nobody is going to take this artifact that we stole. Any stolen artifacts that we have stolen from any part of this world, it is our own. We can only loan it to the people that we stole it from. Of course, these people know that we stole it, so it can only be loaned to them. Like forcefully telling in these people's faces that yes, it's your own, we stole it, but we're not going to give it back. Because there is a permanent law passed by our government that we should not give back what we stole. The audacity and what these people are teaching the upcoming generation, or even other people, other African people, that stealing is a thing, is a normal thing. Hey, the girls must be crazy. That they can go ahead and steal and pass a law in your country that nobody should dare come and take that thing. In fact, the only thing you can do for those people that you stole their thing is to loan it to them. And after a period of time, they should give it back. If not, they should be expecting the worst from what you stole from them. Chai.
3 museums are going to loan 30 items to Ghana. These items were actually looted from the Asante Kingdom, which is present-day Ghana, in the 19th century. The loan is a minimum of 3 years. So imagine you stole something. You're going to let the owner then borrow it. That's what's happening. So just hearing that alone makes sense to how Israel is just a colony of the UK because, you know, apple tree. And of course, the director says this is not a way for the UK to return permanent ownership to Ghana. There's actually laws in the UK that prevents returning stolen artifacts. They have laws for that because they know it's going to happen. They knew that eventually these countries that fought for their freedom and were brutalized by the UK are going to want their stuff back. With that being said, I don't see how Ghana can just not give it back. What are they going to do? Send an army over? How is that going to look? The director, and I quote, says, "This is not restitution by the back door." They want to make it very clear that this is not a way of apologizing or giving back what's not theirs. And the interesting is, they didn't even make this deal with the government of Ghana. They made the agreement with Otumfu Osei Tutu II, who is the current Asante king, who also attended King Charles' coronation. So obviously they have an in with a person there that they trust. And according to Nana, who is the special advisor to Ghana's cultural minister, they're not just objects. They have spiritual importance as well. They are part of the soul of the nation, is pieces of ourselves returning. So should the UK just forget about it and like just sever your ties with these stolen artifacts? Like, I don't understand their obsession with holding. This reminds me of France, who held on to skulls of martyred Algerian soldiers for decades. And it took them decades to return skulls. This obsession, this collection, isn't that what serial killers do? They keep prize or little trophies from their victims. Yeah.
When I tell you, the audacity of the British government is beyond anything. They are the biggest thieves in the world. First of all, let's talk about the fact that the British Museum is filled with nothing that belongs to Britain. Not a single thing. If you cleared out every single thing in that British Museum that did not belong to the British people, it would be an empty building. They're the biggest thieves in the world. If I was Ghana, I would say, okay, let's agree to this loan and then never give it back to them. What they gonna do? Invade over a crown? Try it. It wasn't even yours to begin with. Try it if you dare. And what makes it even worse is the UK apparently has laws in place to prevent museums from giving back items that were stolen from these countries. So they have these loans in place to have these countries get back the items that were stolen from them as a loan, and then you can extend it years later if the British government agrees. I'm telling you, these African countries need to stop playing nice with these colonizers.
So 2 British museums are returning gold and silver artifacts to Ghana under a long-term loan arrangement 150 years after the items were looted from the Asante people during Britain's colonial battles in West Africa. Now y'all fools got some nerve thinking that you got the right in the first place. We need them boys immediately and expeditiously. What kind of made up contract is that? There they go. Making up terms and conditions. In 150 years, we'll give it back. Oh yeah, y'all doing this in good timing right now because the whole of the West is in trouble. Do y'all know what's happening in Burkina Faso and Niger? How Ibrahim Traore, the youngest head of state in the world, said the French and Macron gotta get out. They kicked them out of the French embassy. They told their soldiers they had till December of 2023 to get up out of Burkina Faso. And you know the French rely on Burkina Faso and Niger for gold reserves and their gold mines. Ibrahim Traore has canceled the French from being able to excavate gold from the mines. They are no longer allowed, and they are making their own gold mining companies to be able to serve their people first. And so therefore, this ain't nothing but a ploy to look like they're doing something good and friendly so that they can try to keep their clutches in Africa's good graces. It's just so funny to me that if I were to walk into the museum, the Detroit Institute of Arts, mind you, if I were to go into the DIA in my city, and let's say I was from whatever tribe the artifact was, and I went to snatch it back, I would go to jail. I would be charged with a federal crime. And I bet you some people out there that's going to be like, you should be happy that they're even returning it. No, y'all should be happy that y'all haven't gotten what you deserved in retaliation yet. But it's coming. It's coming.
Everybody is shocked. Everybody is flabbergasted. It is unbelievable, the audacity of these people. And what even annoys me is the fact that these artifacts mean nothing to these people. They just want it there to monetize it. They want it there as trophies for all their conquests coming into these countries and brutalizing the people, and then taking trophies back home to display and make money off of them. They do not understand the cultural significance. They do not understand the spiritual significance of these things. But these things hold deeper values to the people who created them, to the people that this is a part of their culture and their heritage and their ancestry. To think I'm going to invade your space, come into your country, do whatever the heck I want, take your people, destroy your land, and then go back home with trophies. And then they will now create laws to make sure that they do not return these trophies, to make sure that they don't return these stolen artifacts from all these different countries. And then in 150 years' time, you're telling people, oh, we can never return them because we have these laws that insist that they have to remain here in UK, but we can loan them back to you. The audacity. A lot of countries have been trying to get their artifacts back from these museums. They say they are keeping these artifacts for safekeeping because they will not be safe in their home countries. Like, can you believe these guys? The irony is that just last year, August 2023, there were reports of a lot of artifacts missing from these museums in the UK. There were reports of them being stolen and sold on eBay at cheap prices. You guys just take a look at this video.
British Museum can't even protect the artifacts that they stole. The British Museum is well known for having the largest collection of worldwide artifacts that they looted. Countries around the globe have been constantly asking the UK to return these looted artifacts. The UK declined all of these requests and claiming that it's for the protection of the artifacts. They think they can better protect all these artifacts than the countries of their origin. Yet back in August, the British Museum admitted that around 2,000 artifacts had been stolen over a long period of time. Some stolen items were found listed on eBay for as cheap as £50, with true values up to £50,000. The museum also fired one of its own employees accused of stealing the artifacts. The thief is Peter Hicks, who is a prominent curator of Greek antiques and has been working for the museum for more than 35 years. They even launched a new website and email hotline to ask the public to help find these missing artifacts. British Museum, if you cannot protect these treasures that you stole, I have a bad idea. How about returning them to the countries that they truly belong?
So much for safekeeping, right? You want to keep the artifacts where they will not be stolen, and this is what happened to them. People are selling them at cheap prices, and you cannot account for so many of these artifacts. These people have a general attitude about the world, like everything in the world belongs to them. The other people in the world that are not like them are beneath them, so they can go wherever they want, take whatever they want, do whatever they want, and nobody is going to be able to do or say anything about it. They just want to take and conquer and destroy and steal. So the thing now is, with this loan, do they really expect Ghana to give these artifacts back? Do they expect the people of the Asante Kingdom to release these artifacts, these historical, cultural, spiritual artifacts back to people who don't know their value, back to the very people who stole from them, back to the very people who came in and stole their people and destroyed their lands? And the funny thing is, this king actually went for the coronation of Prince Charles, and it just makes me shake my head, because he's not the only African traditional leader that went, or the only prominent African person that went. I mean, we had African people up there performing for those folks and dancing for them. I would never understand why we still try to maintain these relationships with these people, because as much as some of us who don't really know our history might think that our interaction with these British people and these other colonizers did us a lot of good, but if we really know the deep history that they do not want us to know, that we're not really being taught, we will know that it cost us a lot more than we gained. It did us more harm than good associating with these people, and that is why we still have not been able to stand on our own. A lot of our people who are in power today in present-day African countries are still in bed with these people, are still doing the bidding of these people. That is why Africa is not moving forward. So I want to really know if Ghana actually means to return these artifacts after the 3 years, or if this is just a way to get them and then hold on to them. And if Ghana refuses not to return them after 3 years, what do they plan to do? I am very curious, because this whole thing just sounds really crazy to me. Did you guys hear about it? Please let me know in the comment section. If you are Ghanaian, please shed more light. What the heck is going on? This is crazy. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.